Sociocybernic, cyber what? Well, here's a lesson that is not a lesson. It's a little bit icy out there. The road's a little bit downhill here, and let's say somebody's coming downhill here, and they're thinking of looking for a pedestrian because then they would open or close in deciding to stop or not stop, or at least attempt to for the pedestrian. Open or close that decision door, psycho-cybernetics. And, well, let's say they see the pedestrian, even though they're looking for the pedestrian, they might still be startled to see one. And they might be startled because of the anxiety that it's icy today, but I still want to go there and don't want to let that affect me, and I still got to go outside. And so they might hit the brake a bit hard. May or may not be a vehicle that has ABS, but something happens when they hit the brake harder that is different than the norm. And it could be a good thing if there's good quality ABS, right? But their response would then shift to open or close in this way. It would either they're going to press even harder on the brake or ease off. Now let's go with the concept that there's no ABS, and it would be better because as soon as they hit the brake and the wheel locks, let's say, that they are now steering. It's impossible to steer, and they're sliding maybe towards parked cars on the right, or they know already, their brain's calculated already in a fraction of a second, I'm going to stop after the crosswalk. And they may or may not still be evaluating the pattern of what the pedestrian is going to do. Well, let's say wheels lock up. They know not good. Now, they could very likely, like a lot of people, decide to press harder on the brake instead of easing off the brake and doing other things, such as steering away, let's say, from the pedestrian, if that's an option, reapplying the brake in a different way because it won't have the same effect. You know, it becomes complex, right? And we're in a macro world with the events manifesting. And you might think, what, open or close is either they're on the brake or not on the brake. But actually, hitting the brake harder, you would say, what, Martin, they're trying to close the door harder? That's actually a response of cybernetics, because it's not always the concept of 1 or 0 when you're talking about socio-cybernetics. There's also the concept of something that doesn't work and that's not gonna work because you can't change the laws of physics with it, is that it's a possible response for a species that's not that bright and that's continuously devolving because of a variety of human domestication syndrome, which is HSD, my theory, that defines, as a grand unification theory, what's been happening in the social sciences and humanities. So, again, and if you don't believe this, that actually closing the door harder, open or close, is a possible response within the realms of this theory, is, let me bring it back to the brain, let's say. Let me ask brain scientists, because when I was in Norway, in their immigration building, saying, I'm not officially asking for refugee status, but you are the department that grants work visas or research visas or whatever, and you had a Norwegian scientist that won a Nobel Prize for the hardware, for work in the hardware of the brain. I said, you might want to pair us up, because I'm a specialist of the software of the brain. One thing I might have asked her or other brain scientists is, hey, how do you explain when neurons fire, and then there's these electrochemical responses and it continues? Well, at some point it ends. It ends at one place. What determines what that place is? Is it that the door was stuck there? Let me know what you think, because maybe then I'll meet somebody that I may in the future be convinced, depending on your morals and ethics, and not what you claim them to be, but the way you've been living your life as what they would be. Because if that's you, I may I may then discuss the real science of sociocybernetics with you, not what they talk about in these fake conferences.